Hey, everybody. We're making ourselves laugh as we kick off this week's Rocksmith live stream. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Amrick. I'm the community developer on behalf of Rocksmith. And you know what? It's going to be one of those days. Sorry. I'm really tired. It's been a pretty intense week, and we're just cracking each other up in the studio. Hopefully, we'll do something that makes you laugh along with us anyway, like the incredibly humorous music of Stone Sour. Yeah, we have, I'm really happy that we have this music in the game. Very evocative, very emotional, some really highs, some really mellow lows. They're kind of all over the map, Corey Taylor and the crew from Iowa. So hopefully you're going to be digging what we do today. We're going to play all 3 songs from the new Stone Sour DLC pack. Plus, we will, of course, go back and play the song that's already in our library from Stone Sour. So we've got 4 Stone Sour songs today. We've got 2 Ernie Ball giveaways. You're going to get a chance to win some strings, accessories, straps, things like that, anything that a growing musician can use. Plus, we'll have some DLC codes that you can win the Stone Sour pack itself. And enough talking about it, let's take a look at it. This is the trailer for the 3 songs that are in the latest DLC in the game, available on all platforms now. Check it out, and we'll be back with our first one.
I gave up trying. One good turn deserves my time. You don't need to bother. I don't need to be. I'll keep slipping further, but once I hold on, I won't let go till it bleeds.
There you go. That's the 3 songs in the Stone Sour pack. Plus, in a previous pack, we did release Through Glass. So we'll be playing that one a little bit later on in the show. But we're going to kick it off with Absolute Zero. Where else would you start? Not even at 1. You started Absolute Zero, and we've got Andrew Levin and Rykin here to play it for us. Hello, fellers.
Howdy.
Welcome to C# Standard Land, where everything is low. You guys are both tuned down to C# Standard. Gosh, I hope so, or else this is going to sound really terrible.
I can tell from the vibration of the see the vibration of
from the
string.
fact
it's like
that it
a
just
rubber
goes
band.
forever. Yeah, spaghetti string. What kind of do you have to change your technique at all when you tune down this low?
No, but normally if it was my own instrument, I'd have to make sure I have extra heavy strings.
Yes.
Yeah. Way heavier gauge.
There is a trick that Brian Pody brought up, which is if you are normally tuned to E standard and your guitar is normally set up for E standard, if you go down a gauge for every full step that, or sorry, go up in strings for every gauge that you intend to tune down, you can kind of get away without having to reset your entire guitar. So like if for a weekend you want to throw on something where you play in C standard and you would normally play with 10s, put a set of 12s on there and then tune the 12s down, and you get about the same string tension and feel, again, like if you're doing anything long term, it is worth setting up your guitar specifically for that tuning. But if you just want to sort of take a weekend vacation with a guitar and say, I want to do everything in D standard or C standard or C sharp, that's a one quickie way around it.
I draw the line at 11s.
Oh, no way, man. Oh, I love 11s. 11s is...
No, 11s are awesome. I don't go to 12s, though. That's
when you think about it, though...
It's just for jazz guys.
When you think
with
about
the wound
it,
G
though,
string, that's the kicker.
Yeah,
Can't bend it. Sorry, man.
I like it. No, I was going to say, because the B string, if you have a set of 10s, would be like a 14, right? So if you're turning, so if you're tuning down to the C, having 12s or 13s would make sense.
Yes.
Coming from 10s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it.
I have an opinion. Thank you.
I'm very glad you do. Is there anything we should look out for in Absolute Zero? Because you did the note tracking on this one, I believe.
It's a lot of cool guitar playing.
Could have guessed that, yeah.
It's not an easy song, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I decided to include that I wasn't sure about is you'll notice in most of the choruses there's some lead guitar parts, and if you listen to the recording, they're really quiet. And if you listen closely, they're definitely there. But if you watch them play live, they play it every single time.
Oh.
So I decided to include it, so it's a little bit louder when you're playing it than you hear it in the track. So if you're going, where did that guitar part come from? Just listen closely.
It's in there. You just have to pay attention.
Yeah. But
okay. No, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. It's Absolute Zero by Stone Sour, one of the 3 songs in this week's Stone Sour DLC song pack. After this, our first Ernie Ball giveaway.
Shoot, I can show you
It really, it's begging for that
That's gotta be
resolution.
the,
Isn't it?
I'm sure that's the live version.
Andrew, I really liked that solo because it was very melodic, it was very musical, and then like in between, he's like, "Well, I can still show off." And there's some like little flashy things, but they don't take away. It's like usually a solo is either all about the melody or all about the weedly deedly flash, and he does a really good job of balancing the weedly deedly with the with like
Yeah,
the
it's a
nice
really
hummable
cool
melody.
solo.
It was very well constructed, and you
Yeah.
did a fine job playing it too.
Thank you.
Well, I had to compliment you for something because you didn't write it. You know.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to add?
Just a cool song.
It is a cool song. It's a very cool. A couple people said, "Oh, I like this. I think I'm going to pick this up." And I'm like, "Oh, good. Well, that's always a nice fringe benefit of streaming the songs. Is if you find something that you connect with. Hey, great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of techniques in that song. I
Yeah.
mean, it covers almost every major technique on the guitar, which is pretty cool. So it's a good song to practice.
Yeah, you'll get a little bit of everything in Absolute Zero.
And it's fun the way that it turns around. I like the way the riff turns around. It's not typical.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's less bonehead than a lot of hard rock detune songs. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's a lot of that fast lick is pretty challenging too compared to a lot of licks where you go up and down scales like that are a lot easier. This one has just a lot of it just kind of goes up and down and does some it's hard. It's cool. I don't know what else.
It's
to say.
hard. It's cool. It's fine. You don't have to say anything else.
Play it.
All right, go play it. Or okay, thanks. We'll do the first Ernie Ball giveaway now, so that you don't have to say anything else. It's all good.
I don't want to say anything.
Okay. If you would like to win everything you see here on the screen right now, we have everything here is part of the famous Ernie Ball prize pack. The beautiful thing is that it doesn't matter if you play guitar or bass. We want you to play whatever you like. We're going to give you a set of bass strings and a set of guitar strings, courtesy of our friends at Ernie Ball. And you are also going to get the Wonder Wipe system. I'm a big fan of this because I feel like too many people do not really keep their guitar in tip-top playing shape. They just don't bother to clean it or anything like that. And I think that that's hella important, yo. So you're going to get the Wonder Wipes, which are polish, and there also string cleaner, which makes your strings last a bit longer. Not to mention some fretboard conditioner for those in-between string change times when you need to revitalize particularly your rosewood fretboards or anything with open wood like that. You're also going to get a peg winder to change the strings. You're going to get a brand new strap. I believe the straps are now brown. So those of you with acoustics, hey, this matches perfectly, probably. And you're going to get some picks. You're going to get a dozen picks from Ernie Ball. And also, you're going to get 3 of our super duper picks that you can only get here. These are the pink Skullboy picks, as co-designed, and actually really co-designed by Nolan, but suggested by David. David said, "How come we don't have anything in the way of Skullboy in any of our stuff? I always liked the look of that." I said, that's a darn good idea, David. Not only do you save us from all of the bugs from all of the places, but you also are good at knowing what looks cool. He's also a very good Overwatch player. I should point out that we look to David as one of our captains on our office Overwatch squad. Who's your main? Because you play everybody, man. Zarya is your? Oh, Farah. Oh, okay. Farah is his main. Yeah. What do I know? I've become a diva main after being Orisa for a long time. I still kind of like to lay it down with Orisa, but there you go. That doesn't have anything to do with the Ernie Ball giveaway, which you can enter now if you listen to UB Vertigo in our chat room. He'll tell you what you need to do to enter. And I'm cracking up Greg. Hi, Greg Studley is here, and I warned people at the beginning of the show that I've been on energy drinks and very little sleep.
Have you seen Dan, by the way?
No.
Because I look over and he's just gone.
No. Dan is cosplaying as a bassist today. I'm going to pretend that I'm a bassist, except I've got to take my phone out of my pocket because it's really, really annoying.
Especially for bassists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's right. That's why I keep my phone right where you would keep, say, a beautiful Ernie Ball Music Man Caprice bass. How you doing, Greg?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gotten sleep. Good for you.
I
Rub
have.
it in, you jerk.
I
Hey. Oh.
There you go.
Hey, we're here to play Bother.
Yes, we are.
And I think some people were surprised that we got this song because it's one of their more recent songs. And I think that because it does take a very long time for us to license song. We've talked about this in the past that, we don't necessarily get the latest chart toppers because the process itself puts some time between when you might hear it on the radio and when we can put it in the game. However, some people were like, oh, gee, I'd really like to see Bother, but I'll bet you it was too recent. But this song came out in, 2012 or something like that? I mean, it's still quite...
Not that recent.
No?
No, I'm just saying it's not that recent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the idea. It's no, there's enough time. So, yeah, very happy to have cleared this one. Really mellow. I found the bass to be incredibly easy. So
you know
I only
what's cool
played,
about that bass line?
I can do it.
It's actually based off the orchestral bass line.
Oh, is that so? Is there no bass line in this song?
No, but what I did is I transcribed the orchestral arrangement of the background into the bass.
Ah.
And it actually became a really, it's mellow, there's not a lot going on, but you can really hear how it fits with the orchestra in the background.
Yeah, it locks right in. It's very nice. So I should be able to play this myself.
I agree.
Even I can play it. So if you're looking for an easy-to-achieve bass line that you could play, say, after playing it once at your desk 4 days ago and with very little sleep, perhaps Bother is the track for you. What are we looking at on guitar?
A really nice hammer-on chord sequence, which really adds to the song. It's very different than that one little hammer-on just adds a lot into the sound. I mean, other than that, there's a short guitar solo in the middle, not overly difficult, so definitely, able to be played if you're an intermediate.
Attainable.
Yeah, very much so, very much so.
All right, then let's give it a shot. This is Bother by Stone Sour. Once again, this week's DLC is the Stone Sour Song Pack, 3 songs. And this is the second, so if you've just joined us, we have another giveaway after this. Should probably start playing.
One
of those days.
Oh my God.
I'll just take this part, it's fine.
Thank you.
Stones to throw in my creator, masochist, to which I cater. You don't need to bother. I don't need to breathe. I'll keep slipping farther. But once I hold on, I won't let go till
for that bass arrangement, I love how you saved the open E, the really low open E, until really late in the song. It added gravity.
It'll
by
have a
putting it
really
there.
dramatic. Anytime you hold back a note,
Yeah.
and then you finally throw that note in,
You're like,
it's going to have that dramatic effect.
Yeah. It kind of punched in. It was
Great,
very
great
nice.
rule of composition as well.
I managed, even that being as simple as it was, I managed to completely forget to play bass on part of it. So I apologize for ruining your song, as I always seem to do. But yeah, even that guitar part, I mean, that little, the main riff that repeats throughout, it's just flashy enough that if you played it, your friends would be impressed. But this is not, like, if you're going to go and shop for a guitar, don't play the riffs that everybody always plays, all the cliche things, and you crank it up. Go in and play this, and people will not be annoyed if they hear you do diddly-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, it's not
it's a
too
really
much.
sweet little lick.
It's also a great tune if you wanted to take a song and apply it to an acoustic to do just like a singer-songwriter type of sound using just vocals and an acoustic guitar. This song is ideal for it.
This would kill at open mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
who's that?
Oh, open mic. He's my buddy. He's always available
Nice.
whenever I need help.
At least on Thursdays.
Helps me move bodies. It's open mic, whatever. Hey, everybody, if you would like to win, say, a copy of Bother, not to mention the other 2 songs in the Stone Sour Song Pack, we're going to do a giveaway now-ish. Watch for UB Vertigo in our chat room. He'll let you know what you need to do. We've got 5 codes for Steam. So if you play on PC or Mac, this is your opportunity. This is where you want to be. So we're going to give those away now while we take a brief break. For those of you who are not familiar, there are more than just songs in Rocksmith. Did you know?
Oh, is
Yeah,
that right,
I didn't know if you knew. What we have are a bunch of other things that you can do, like little learning mini games. Which we put under the title of GuitarCade. So if you're looking to practice your bends or your slides or your harmonics, things that often are sort of like boring to just drill as like, hey, do this homework because a guitar teacher like Greg Studley told you to do it.
You better do it, by the way.
That's right. I know. I will. But, perhaps maybe making it like a retro 80s arcade game might make it more fun. So if you're not familiar with GuitarCade, here's a little overview. And when we come back, we'll do Through Glass with Jason Kokel after this.
In Rocksmith 2014, we've got 11 new GuitarCade games. GuitarCade is the area of Rocksmith where you can learn new skills such as bends, slides, tremolos, chords, and all that, and brush up on your techniques in a less formal, less structured environment. Ducks Redux is the Ducks game that we always wanted to make. It's probably the first one you played in Rocksmith 1, and it's really simple. You're moving up and down the fretboard. Last time we were limited to just the top string, and now as you progress, you'll get to do it on every string on the guitar. Scale Racer is an 80s style arcade racer where you're learning guitar scales. You're on the run from the cops. And as you play the scales up and down the guitar neck, you go faster and faster to get away from the cops. You can either play the next note early for more bonus points, or wait until just the last second to crash the cop car that's chasing you into the oncoming traffic. It's light years beyond anything we did in Rocksmith 1. Gone Whalin' is another one of the all-new mini games we've added to GuitarCade for Rocksmith 2014. Gone Whalin's all about dynamics, and the louder you play, the higher the guy goes. The softer you play, the lower he goes. A lot of beginners just play as loud as they can, and the true masters, the guys who really know what they're doing with the guitar, they know it's all about your fingertips. It's all about your touch and how soft you can play. Gone Whalin' helps you learn that. The most popular GuitarCade game in Rocksmith 1 was Dawn of the Chorded, where you learn chord shapes and shot up approaching hordes of little zombies. So Return to Castle Chorded has more zombies, more chords, more everything. There's boss battles, there's cutscenes, there's a great tongue-in-cheek story. It's in every way a nod to 90s, rail shooters. One of the things that people loved about GuitarCade before was that we had leaderboards for every game. You could check your high score against the world. We've kept that, but we've made it better. Instead of just passively checking your position on the leaderboard against the rest of the world, Rocksmith actually looks at where you are on the leaderboard and sends challenges your way. Leaderboard challenges provide never-ending motivation to keep getting better at the games themselves, but then also at guitar. When we shipped Rocksmith 1, everyone said that it was a classic rhythm game, but with a real guitar. That wasn't necessarily the case. It's a great learning tool. In Rocksmith 2014, we've made the learning better, but we've also added Score Attack, which is essentially a classic rhythm game, but with a real guitar. It's all the stuff that you expect: lock difficulty, head-to-head battles, duets. Everything is just so much better. Learning is better, it's more fun. It really is just another thing that makes Rocksmith 2014 the best way to learn guitar.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rocksmith live stream. We are live from San Francisco here in beautiful Ubisoft territory. My name is Dan Amrich. I'm the community developer on behalf of Rocksmith. And what we're doing this week is playing the music of Stone Sour. We have 3 songs from Stone Sour. That's our current week's DLC. And we have played 2 of those, and we've got 2 more songs to go, which now if you're good at math, you probably figured out that we're going to play a bonus song, and that bonus song is now. Through Glass actually appeared in the game earlier. I'm going to throw it over to Anthony Martinez for a vague sense of when this joined the library.
Oof.
Do you remember? Was this part of a 2000s pack or something like that?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, well, it's there, is what I'm saying.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I know
it
that.
has.
And that's another song entirely.
I was going to say, yeah, I believe that's, yeah. Jason Kokol is here, and Jason, you note-tracked Through Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, well, it all came back when I was practicing it.
See, okay, so Andrew's not the only
yeah.
one who practices.
So the thing that I remembered the most, which I actually hadn't forgotten about, is, as the kids say, it's catchy AF.
Yes, catchy
I'm
AF.
telling you, man, the vocal melody, like every time I heard the song for weeks, it was just in there, and all it took was for me to think about this song's title. It's like, oh, there it is.
There it
right
is.
in there again. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool song and an equally cool music video. If you've not seen it, it does some neat camera work that was surprising when I first saw it. I was like, how are they doing that? It's really nice.
All right.
So, but anyway, the song itself, yeah, there's the lead is sort of a hodgepodge of many different things because the lead guitar doesn't actually play until like the first, after the first 25% of the song is over. So then it kind of jumps from rhythm to lead. It has all these sort of holes that it's trying to fill in.
The bass also sits out for a while, and then, when it enters, makes a pretty big impact on the song, and then sits out again, but not, not as long, and then rejoins. Yeah. And yeah, it's this is a fun tune, and it is catchy. It's just well written.
Well, now I just want to hear it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. It's Through Glass by Stone Sour, available now in Rocksmith 2014 on all platforms. After this song, we'll do a little Q&A with Anthony and Jason, and we don't usually get Jason for the Q&A segment. So if you have any questions, start asking them now. We'll go through them as we do
Looking at you
them.
through the glass, don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. 'Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. How do you feel? That is the question. But I forget you don't expect an easy answer. When something like a soul becomes initialized and folded up like paper dolls and little notes, you can't expect a bit of hope. So while you're outside looking in, describing what you see, remember what you're staring at is me. 'Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever. No one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. How much is real? So much to question. An epidemic of the mannequins, contaminating everything we thought never did right from the start. Just listen to the noises. Before you tell yourself it's just a different scene, remember it's just different from what you've seen. I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. No one knows that it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. 'Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. And all I know is that it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. And it's the stars that shine for you. And it's the stars that light you. And it's the stars that shine for you. And it's the stars that light you. Don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. 'Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. And it's the stars that shine for you. And it's the stars that light you. And it's the stars that shine for you. And it's the stars that
That build's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right.
Really
It's
does.
catchy AF.
Yeah.
It really
For
is.
real. Good luck getting out of your head, you know.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a couple of really good questions that I think you guys might like to help me tackle.
Sure.
One is specific to this song. Genie 308 says, "Is that a 12-string acoustic on the original recording, or is it 2 6-strings in stereo?"
It might be 2 6-strings in stereo. I don't think it's a 12-string.
Yeah, I think that it's a 6-string
yeah.
double-tracked, and,
Yeah.
and people have pointed out, they're like, yeah, it sounds more like that to me. So,
yeah, I'm
but good
pretty
question.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is.
I have, let's see, this name is lame says, "I've had multiple instances of breaking my high E string when I'm tuning to and from D or lower. What's the most reliable way to avoid that?" I think we kind of tackled this one a little bit last week, but it
Right.
could well be something physically wrong with the saddle of your bridge. There could be a little burr, a little piece of metal that is catching on your string, and as you try to tune it up over that, it's catching on that physically and then breaking. So I would inspect your saddle or your nut, because the burr could be in either place. But because again, if you're just returning back up to standard pitch, you're not putting any additional stress on that string, so maybe there's something else in the travel that's actually causing that.
And just to clarify, the nut is right up here,
Yes.
and then the
Sorry,
saddle
and the
is,
saddle
is
are
right
these
down
little
there.
pieces down there. My bad, I should have pointed that out. How do the note trackers decide where to stop putting notes when the song ends in a fade out? This is something I've always wondered.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question.
So, what
That's from Death Johnson, by the way, the
Okay.
greatest stuntman since Clutch Nixon.
Oh, for sure. So what I usually do, I try to end the last note being played on something salient, which is usually the tonic chord in the song or in the current chord progression. So if the if for instance the phrase is 4 measures long and each has and it starts on and you're in the key of E minor and it starts on E minor, goes from E minor to C to D to A minor. I'm not going to let it hang on that A minor. I'm going to go to the next downbeat and say at least stop there, even if it's a little bit over the fade where the music isn't as audible, just so there's that completeness, you have that resolution. So I'm usually looking for that, and if that resolution happens like way deep in the fade, well then I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll cut it before the fade actually is.
Right.
So you try to find a balance between when playing over it is going to make it difficult for you to hear the music, so that you get your timing right, versus like where the song actually ends if you were playing like live with a band, because you're not going to fade out live.
Right.
You're not going to have
Everything's going to resolve in some way.
Yeah, in some way you're going to figure out a way. So that's at least what I do, and I think other folks on the team probably do that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Other folk on the team, you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well stated. I always try to bring the song back home, and point to that resolution so that, to Jason's point, there is that completeness.
Cool. Tufty McTavish asks, when leveling up, Rocksmith offers me simplified chord shapes to start. I sometimes preempt the game and play the full chord, but I seem to get more misses when I do. Does Rocksmith prefer to get exactly what it's asking for? Am I being penalized for playing those extra notes?
So it depends. The detection works based on what it can hear, and if you are playing, sometimes if you're playing more chord notes than what is being offered, you may think you're playing the ones that it wants to hear, but you might, for instance, if the leveled up, if the interim version was just these high, the high B and the high E strings, and what you were doing is a full E minor chord, but you weren't actually strumming those two, it's going to be like, sorry, you didn't get, because even if you think that you're strumming the full thing, you may not be, or there may be other sort of noise in the way that's preventing it from hearing what you want. Now, you can sometimes overplay and play things that are beyond what the note track is showing you, and it will pass detection. But sometimes for chords, that's a thing that would make that might register a miss if you played too much. Then the reverse is true. When there's like a 5 or 3, 4, 5 or 6 note chord, it's not like it's listening to that whole thing, but if it didn't quite hear one of those notes out of the chord, it's not going to be like, nope, didn't hear it, because that would be unforgiving. I mean, rock music is inherently sloppy, and when strumming, if I'm going, I'm not going, I'm not getting all of those. I'm getting parts of the chord in there, even though I'm holding the same shape, and so the detection system favors that as well. It's going to be like, okay, I heard it. I heard what you were going for when it's a full chord. But when you only have a few notes that's being shown, it is a little more strict. You know, particularly if it's a single note or a double stop, it wants to hear that. And so if you play more than that, you might be tripping it up in a way. So
well spotted, Tufty. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Cypher 10K, I think, is, I'm not sure. Cypher lol K, lol C? I can't tell. I've always played rhythm, says Cypher. Watching you play lead, it almost seems like rhythm is more challenging. Do you feel that that's true? I've heard that from other Rocksmith players where, I say, I'm a rhythm player myself, and they're like, oh, that's too hard. I'm like, well, lead looks hard to me. Is there an empirical evidence that one is harder than the other that you're aware of?
I don't think so. I think it just depends on what you're playing. You can certainly play a challenging rhythm part that might be technically difficult in that, it's probably fast or it moves quickly up and down the neck. At the same time, you might be presented with a lead part that's sort of simple. It's straightforward. It's just like a single note melody that's not fast moving and maybe stays in one position that uses a couple of strings, versus one that travels up and down the neck using all 6 strings on the guitar. I mean, there are just so many different cases. It totally depends.
For me, it's the idea of playing a lot of single fast notes is more is scarier than grabbing multiple notes. But I think other people are like, well, that's a complicated shape that I have to remember to put I have to engage 4 fingers
that's
all at once or
understandable
something.
too.
And so I'm like, okay, I see where that is challenging. To me, it always just felt more natural. So it may just be a personal thing.
Whereas like say a 2-note power chord riff that you might find in a rhythm chart is more accessible. especially one that doesn't stray from a given position. It just stays like down here, and it's just easy to move from one shape to the next. But yeah, there are a lot of factors. I know for me, when I first started, it was easier for me to play single note riffs than it was for me to play even open chords, because the challenge that I was faced with when I was first learning, say A major, for example, was trying to fit all of my fingers into the correct slot, and being able to hit each string cleanly without any one of my fingers muting a string. So, I mean, there are so many different challenges to account for, but yeah, I mean, certainly open chords are tough, barred chords are tough. Yeah.
Let's face it, guitar is tough.
It is. It's challenging, right?
Why do we do this?
It's worth it.
I have an update from This Name Is Lame about his mystery broken string.
Oh yeah, what's up?
He said it's actually breaking up at the nut.
Okay.
Or sorry, not at the nut. Sorry, at the tuner. At the tuner itself. I said, well, look for an imperfection on the tuner.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But Squirrely Ninja, our very own Chris Wu, suggested that we talk about how to wrap the string on the post.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are sort of best practices. I know some people don't like changing their strings, or they get very flustered. You should be, when you start doing the string, I always like to put at least 3 wraps around the post, and those wraps should go down. So the spiral should go down towards the headstock, and not like up and over. I've seen people, sort of put the string over itself. You don't want it to, like, none of those are useful. And of course that would kink the string, and that might create that kind of thing. So if you have that's the other thing, is if you could be creating a sort of a sharp angle when you're going into your tuning post, so that when you bring it back up, it's already a weak point, and that may be what's causing it to snap. So yeah, I would still say, I mean, it could also just be really crappy tuners. Some guitars don't come with very good tuners. Pretty easy replacement. Brian Pody's series of Rocksmith Encores will show you how to replace your tuners. You might be surprised how quick and easy it can be.
And some strings are more durable than others too.
That's true. Yeah, like your high E is the one that's breaking, not your G or your A. I mean, that is part of it. The high E's are notorious for breaking because they're the thinnest. So
yeah,
hope you figure it out. But I don't have any further, just bring it by my house. I'll take a look at it, maybe file down the things that, there you go.
That's good information, though, that just regarding the tuning peg, considering that as a point of,
yeah, it's an impact point.
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
It's a tension point. It's a pedal point. No, it's not. Thank you for all your questions. If you have more, you can reach out to us through any of our social media channels. We're on Twitter as @RocksmithGame. We're on Facebook /Rocksmith. That's all it is. And we're on Instagram, but we don't really answer anybody there. We show you pretty pictures. That's what Instagram is for, as far as I'm concerned. And that's @RocksmithGame over on Instagram as well. Plus, of course, our forums. If you have like a detailed thing you'd like to get multiple people's advice on something, stop by rocksmith.com and post in the forums. So thank you both so much for enduring the Q&A gauntlet. In case you missed it, we have other music that may appeal to you if Stone Sour appeals to you. Of course, every artist sounds slightly different, and, you're never going to get perfect matches, but there's a pretty good chance that if you dig what Stone Sour is doing, that you might also dig what Disturbed is doing, and we have 2 packs from Disturbed. I believe, if I've scheduled this right, because I created this slide quite a long time ago, but I believe that the first Disturbed pack is the top line with the first 3 songs, and the second Disturbed pack is a 5-pack, which is all the songs listed in the second and third line. So if you'd like to buy specifically one or the other, don't forget you can also get any of those songs as singles. You do not have to buy the packs, but if you do buy the packs, you'll find you save $1 or $2. It depends on how big the pack is, but we try to pass a little bit of savings on for the fact that you're getting more than one track. And we also have 4 songs by Seether, 3 in the Seether pack. And then the one that's in italics. Whenever you see something on these slides in italics, that means something is different. Either it's available as a single, or it's available on disc or something like that. And I play fast and loose with that so that only I know. But in this case, Careless Whisper, their cover of Wham's famous single, is part of our Rockin' Covers pack. So that's one that you can get as a single. It's also available as part of the Rockin' Covers pack. But if you like Stone Sour and you dig what you're hearing today, you might want to check out these bands. And if you check out those bands and you find that you like what they're doing as well, you can learn their music as well in Rocksmith. Keep in mind, we have more than 1,200 songs. I have honestly lost count. I'm pretty sure we're over 1,250. Toy Machine is here in our chat room, Toy Machine SH, and he generally knows exactly how many songs are available at any given time. And there it is, 1,288 total songs when you put together all of the songs from both Rocksmith 1 and all of our DLC and the on-disc songs for Rocksmith 1 and Rocksmith 2014 as well. So that's up to you. Figure it out. There's plenty of choice in our streaming, in our library, not in our streaming. We're streaming now. In our library, there's plenty of choice. You do whatever you like. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of guidance. A place to start anywhere. My name is Dan Amrich. As you can see, I am increasingly incoherent. I'm tired, and so we're gonna just barrel through to the fourth song. This is a Stone Sour DLC week. We've got 3 songs from Stone Sour that are available now in the game on all platforms, and our final song is "Say You'll Haunt Me." To play this, it's Shu and David, Brian Shu and David Stevens. Shu, did you note track this, or are you stepping in for Shane Gann?
Stepping in for somebody. I don't know.
I think it was Shane.
That sounds right.
Or maybe it was Sam.
Oh, it could have been Sam.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been Sam. That's right.
Yeah.
It probably was.
Oh,
He was
all
on
right.
vacation.
He was on vacation. Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, then I'm not going to ask you to do anything fancy, but would you tell me what your carvin is? Because we had a question about that. Andrew played this. Sometimes we'll share guitars when they're tuned down to C sharp. It's just easier for 2 people to use the same thing. You let him use your guitar before, and somebody asked, "Is that an Ibanez S series?" Because they noticed the curves and stuff and sort of the rounded. And I said, "No, it's a carvin." I couldn't remember if it was a DC 300 or a 400.
400.
It is a 400. It's the fancier one.
The fancier one with all the. It
The
used
quilt,
to have
baby.
active
that sculpted neck joint.
electronics and coil splits and a phase shift, and then I was like, I don't want any of that. So now it's just a volume and one tone.
Seriously, and all the rest are just there for.
This stuff works, but it doesn't have this push pull for the active electronics anymore.
Oh wow!
Because I was just like, well, I'd never use
Right.
it.
It's one more thing to go wrong sometimes.
Yeah. And I honestly, I prefer the sound of the passive pickups.
Huh.
by
Can you
themselves.
show the heel? David mentioned that where the
Yeah.
neck meets the body is called the heel on a guitar, and this one. So it's this is
So
a
nice.
one-piece neck through the body, and then they attach the 2 sides of the guitar as wings, more or less. So yeah, that's if you are constantly frustrated by the heel, especially on bolt-on guitars, sometimes it's big funk, as you're trying to play fast up the neck. You don't have that problem when it's a neck through.
It just
guitar.
looks good too.
It
Yeah,
does.
It's a very comfortable guitar too. There's no like sharp corners or anything.
Right.
So it's like, my arm doesn't hurt when I don't know, get it caught on a corner or
Right.
something.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. See, that was
whatever.
just as informative as if you knew anything about the song you're about to play, but I don't assume that you do. So let's play "Say You'll Haunt Me."
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks. This is "Say You'll Haunt Me,"
Yay.
the third of the 3 Stone Sour songs available in this
around
week's
too
DLC. After this, one more Ernie Ball giveaway, and we got a little new business, old business to deal with before we go off the air.
Little supernovas in my head, little soft pulses in my dead, little souvenirs of secret shared, little off guard and unprepared. I was never good enough to find heart shared, little off guard and unprepared. I will give you anything to. I will give you everything to. Say you won't stay, you want me to. Say you'll never die, you'll always want me. I wanna know I belong to you. Say you'll run me, say you won't stay, you want me to. Say you'll never die, you'll always want me. I wanna know I belong to you. Say you'll run me.
So, Jedi Jin says, Shu has the opposite of guitar face, and I love it. You know, everybody else when they play guitar, it's like, you know, over-emoting and sort of like, I'm so cool. And you're like, I am locked into this music. I am respecting this music. I'm paying attention to what I need to do, and I am executing. And you're the consummate professional.
You haven't seen me play live.
I have.
That is different.
But you're like, that's about as much as you do. There's a little torso dip as you're playing.
Oh.
But yeah, you're still very, very locked in the moment. You have
Settle
a
down.
deep, yeah, I know, right?
Out of
You have
control.
a deep connection with music, and you're like, nope, it's all in here. Or
yeah.
you're a ticking time bomb of fury, one of the two things. I don't know.
I think we should apply.
He's not denying that.
Should apply alcohol and see
No,
what happens.
yeah, oh, yeah. Let's see. Can we make Shu go nuts if we get him loaded? I don't know. Maybe.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. Well, hey, that's the end of the show. No, actually, we have one more giveaway to do. We've got some Ernie Ball gear to give away. We gave away one of these packs at the beginning of the show, and now we've got a second one. And this one, if you didn't already win the first one, could be yours. Obviously, if you did win the first one, please don't enter this time. That's just really rude. But if you did not win, feel free to go ahead and follow whatever UB Vertigo says you can do. So what you need to do is pretty simple, actually, in our chat room. But what you're going to win is everything you see here. Strings from Ernie Ball. Obviously, they're very famous for the Slinky brand of strings, sort of a standard when it comes to guitar and bass. And so you are going to get to adopt that standard. We're going to give you a free set of Ernie Ball 10 to 46 electric guitar strings, and a free set of 50 to 105 regular Slinky bass strings. You're going to get a peg winder, which is handy for changing those strings. You're going to get Wonder Wipes, which is good for cleaning and maintaining your guitar and its fretboard in between your string changes. You're going to get a strap, which is good for actually holding the guitar. I don't know if you know this, but you can stand and play guitar or bass if you connect one of these straps to those two little metal buttons that are on either side of your instrument. You do not have to sit on a stool anymore if you don't want to. You can stand, you can even walk around depending on how long your cable is. So you're going to get this amazing technology for yourself in a beautiful brown nylon color. And you're also going to get a dozen strings from Ernie Ball and 3 of our very rare pink Rocksmith picks. These are made to be played, folks. I've heard some people say, like, yeah, I got the picks, and one person actually framed them, which was a really huge compliment. But at the same time, I was like, man, these are like 88s. These are nice between medium heavies. Like, you know, they're very functional picks. They're really nice. So, I don't know, put one aside in you know, seal that in gloop stick or something and keep it as a memento. But, you know, hey, get out there and play guitar. That's what Rocksmith is all about. So, if you would like to win that pack, just follow UB Vertigo's advice and his instructions, and then he will pick a winner. He will then whisper you if you're one of the winners. He'll send you either the code if you won one of the earlier codes, or he will ask you to confirm your name, your address, and your phone number. The more organized you can make that, the better for me, because he sends it to me, and then I fill out all the paperwork, and I want to make sure that it reaches you. Now, we have been having some weird problems. We've gotten a few packages back from places that don't normally send packages back. So if that happens, if we try to ship you something, first of all, if you're international, if you're outside of the continental U.S., it may take a while to get to you because that's the nature of the mail. However, we have had instances where, like, literally almost a year later, we get a package back. Through no fault of yours, it fails customs. We always do all the paperwork, but sometimes the paperwork gets lost. Sometimes, you know, we've seen things that just kind of don't add up when it's like, no, you owe us a lot more for, you know, which is maybe $35 or $40 worth of accessories. You know, we're like, come on, guys. But if that is the case, we will reach out to you and say, hey, can we work something else out? We can't get you your prizes. We'll do a make good. So you'll still get something. But, you know, the better, the more information you can give us about your address and the more solid address you can give us, the easier it's going to be for us to try to get you your prizes. So thank you to Ernie Ball for giving us the prizes, and thank you for watching, and good luck. Couple things on the way out the door. We will reveal a little bit of next week's DLC tomorrow at Rocksmith.com in the forums. There's going to be a puzzle that is posted by Doug, generally, UB Vertigo. And this is the work of Rolling Stone 222. He's one of the folks who's in our forums and a part of our Rocksmith community. And he was so good at solving the puzzles that I used to make that we just shoved it over on his plate. And he's like, no, this is fun. He likes doing it. So he will give you a clue through Doug that you can solve with the other people in the Rocksmith forum, and then you get to find out what's coming soon before anybody else. And we will confirm an artist and a song. Sometimes it's the artist for the whole pack. Sometimes it's an artist for a mixed pack. You'll have to show up tomorrow at Rocksmith.com and click on the forums to find out. We would normally be plugging a Rocksmith Encore right now, but we are skipping September due to crazy like scheduling conflicts. Monday turned out to be like, oh, everybody's not in the office. People are taking the day off, or people have a meeting that they can't miss, or something like that. So, we'll do it next time. We have some good ideas for the rest of the year. Going forward, not only will we do a couple of those, but we will also be lurching towards the annual Rocksmith Holiday Special. If you're not familiar with this, it's an epically long, ridiculous, stupid stream that we do. It's usually at least 3.5 hours. All the note trackers come up and play their favorite song from the year, whether they created it or not. It's just a song that they really were happy to see enter the Rocksmith library. Plus, we do a ton of giveaways. I mean, really good giveaways, and I have some fun ideas for this year. So no encore now, but, you know, hey, pencil in sometime in December, because that's when we'll do our holiday stream. One last thing. This is very in Apple Week. One last thing. I'm happy to announce that after 4.5 years, you, the Rocksmith playing public, are getting an upgrade. The ComDev position, the community developer, which I have been inhabiting for the last 4.5 years, is going to Douglas Lilly. I'm happy to announce that Doug Lilly has accepted a promotion. He is moving out to San Francisco, and he's going to take my job. Now, the bad news is that you're not really getting rid of me. I am staying within the Rocksmith family. I'm staying at the studio, and I'll just be... I'm moving over to be the assistant to the regional manager. So, yeah, I'm staying on the team, but Doug is actually going to take over as ComDev, doing all the ComDev-y things. Frankly, he's been helping me so much for the last 2 years. It's insane. There's no way we would have been able to do everything that we've been doing without Doug's organization and his vision and his ability to execute. So this is a very well-deserved promotion. He's obviously collecting all of his stuff from waterlogged North Carolina, throwing it into, I assume, a suitcase, and he's going to move out to the Bay Area over the next few weeks. So you still have me until that point. I'm never really going to go away. I'm kind of like luggage, actually, in that way. You can, I thought we got, oh, my God, I still have this luggage. That's me for Rocksmith. So congratulations to Doug, to UB Vertigo in our chat room. He's been doing a bang-up job, and it's great to see him recognized for that. So that's what you have to look forward to, is a transition as we go towards the end of the year. And that's it, I think. So congratulate Doug as you watch our final trailer of the day. This is Stone Sour, 3-song pack available now on all platforms. And yeah, we will see you back here on Thursday, next Thursday, for brand new DLC at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UTC, because we haven't actually switched over to the new timing, and we won't for a few more weeks yet. But groovy. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.
I can bleed if I wanna bleed. trying. One good turn deserves my time. You don't need to bother. I don't need to be. I'll keep slipping further. But once I hold on